Good evening, everyone. Before moving to my presentation, I would like to give you a very brief introduction about me. I'm Abdul Qadir Muhammad Nafrees from Sri Lanka, working for a state university in Sri Lanka called Southeastern University of Sri Lanka. So if you see the right side of my presentation, you can see the research interest of mine. So let me move to the research. So this is my research title, case study title for this workshop, selection of external factors for enhanced technology acceptance model, TAM model for e-learning. So I would like to go through these content to complete my presentation, starting with introduction, then existing, literature service, then methodology for the results and discussion, finally, conclusion. Let me start with introduction. So this e-learning or digital learning, it is not a new concept to this world, but sudden movement due to the pandemic around the globe make it very hard for both student and staff in the educational organization. This is because the staff and students are not user-friendliness with the digital devices and new technologies, and the internet availability issues, security and privacy, and there is no place for students for their studies for the majority of the students. Also, another very important problem is conducting examination. But if you can provide a globally accepted solution through the policies or some model, so we can make it easier. We can reduce these problems. We can avoid these kind of problems as much as possible. Therefore, I here introducing the required external factors to develop technology acceptance model, which can be accepted by the globally accepted. So my concept is, before conducting any studies related to TEM, we must know what are the external factors must be used to develop these TEM model. So the model can be accepted globally, so we can avoid these kind of practical issues during e-learning activities in any circumstances. This is just a sample of overview of TEM for e-learning. So here PU perceive usefulness, likewise PEU perceive easiness, usefulness, likewise BIU and some other the factors also contributing to adaptation of e-learning. So here the X1 to Xn are the external factors that will be decide the other factors like PU, PEU, BIU, US. Now let me move to the next section, existing researchers or literature survey. So I have conducted this research based on systematic literature review. Therefore, my analysis based on the previous articles. So I have analyzed the previous article based on three major categories. One is external factors. What are the external factors they have used for their researchers to develop TEM model? And second one, what is the future direction they have suggested? And third one, what are the limitations they have mentioned in their paper? So if you see the these previous studies, very few researchers focused on security and privacy matters. And if you see the future direction, majority of the studies suggesting to develop virtual reality and augmented reality tools that can be used for the practical subject. For example, medical or engineering subject, they have more practical subject. For those kind of subject, they can use these kind of tools. And the main limitation of the many researchers is the collected data is very narrowed down. That means they are collecting data from a single university or a single education sector or single region or less number of data. So you can see here also. So then the next part is methodology. Here I have, as I told you earlier, I have conducted this study based on systematic literature review. So for that purpose, we all know around the globe, all the educational sectors purely move to e-learning. So the sudden movement happened after the COVID-19 pandemic. So therefore, I have selected the paper which is published after mid-2020. So that is the time when the people starting publishing paper related to e-learning and pandemic, I mean COVID-19. So I have decided to select the paper after publishing mid-2020, and based on the following conditions: open access journal, book chapter, and conference proceedings. Paper published in high index databases like Scopus, Web of Sciences, an article which are published in the medium of instruction. So if you see the right side, this is the classification diagram of articles. So at the beginning, I could find 189 paper related to e-learning and TEM model. And then I have finally I got only 25 paper because of these reasons. That is, one reason is not in English. Second one, irrelevancy. That means before COVID-19 or some other and the third one, closed access. And then based on these main research questions, here RQ main research questions, I have conduct this study. First one, what are the factors must be included when developing TEM? Factors mean external factors. And the second one, what are the most needful future direction when developing TEM for e-learning? So when you develop any, conduct any studies related to e-learning and TEM, what is the most future direction that we need to consider, that we need to include our research? So here are the results and discussion. Because of the sudden spike in the movement of e-learning process, create many issues in learning process of students, staff, and parents also across the globe and around the globe. For example, the main problem is privacy issues and security problems, unfamiliarity, which mean many staffs and students are not familiar with the devices and the technical matters of e-learning, and internet connectivity issues. It is a very important problem also. And many more, like they don't have a separate, students don't have the separate place, and since students are studying from different places of the country, they may have faced different issues like power issues and device accessibility, and the contact with the the instructor, immediate help to the technical problems when student or staff facing a problem to accessing VLE or Zoom classes. And, likewise, there are many problems. And as I told you, systematic review approach to collect the required data from research articles or case studies published by reputed publishers, as I told you previously. So this is the technique that I have used to collect the required data. And based on the study, these are the main external factors that is I am suggesting to use in upcoming researchers for e-learning and TEM, I mean technology acceptance model, namely computer self-efficacy, I mean they have staff and student knowledge on computer usage, and system quality. For example, if you are using VLE or virtual learning environment for e-learning, we have to confirm the quality of the VLE or Zoom or any other tool that we are using for e-learning. We have to confirm the system quality. content quality, the user means staff and student friendliness of the system, user awareness of the system, academic motivation, user satisfaction, e-retention, the usefulness of the system, self-confidence, technical support, computer anxiety, social norm, security, privacy, the severity of the pandemic, challenges that student and staff facing. For example, uh, student participating in the class from their home, they are facing many challenges. For example, noises, no separate place. Okay, likewise staff also, if they are conducting class from their home, there is no peaceful place in the home. It is very hard to find a peaceful place. And finally, user characters. So these are the most careful external variable that I suggest to use in the future studies. Furthermore, these are the suggestion for the future e-learning related researchers through TEM. Developing VR and augmented, VR mean virtual reality and augmented reality e-learning tools for practical subject. Understand the use of e-learning from qualitative perspective through the interview or focus group discussion. Sample must be large from vast region. Rather than collecting from one or two colleges or single region, we have to collect the data. Better to collect the data from different countries, from different universities and schools. So for that purpose, we need some more time and cost. But somehow we can collect large amount of data from large areas. Our research result will be very accurate, and the developed system can be used globally. And researchers need to conduct for teaching staff also to understand their need for e-learning. If you see, most of the researchers are conducting from the student perspective. Very less or very few researchers conduct from teaching staff perspective. So it is must conduct researchers from teaching staff perspective also. And game-based educational tool can be developed to assess school student e-learning activities. So if you develop a game for the educational purpose based on the curriculum, student never feel bored. Okay, so this is also one of the suggestion. And another important thing, these are some other suggestion for these kind of relation researchers. As I told you, data must be collected globally within a long period of time frame in both public and private educational institute. And all the above research must be tried to include the external factors discussed above for the better generalization of results. And there are some limitations that study, that is very less number of articles published after the pandemic related to e-learning and technology acceptance model. And among that, majority of the article cannot be accessed freely. So there is very less open access. So this is my conclusion, the last part of my presentation. The study uses a systematic review process to find the at most useful external factor for TEM. And the second one, external factors must include not only student perspective, but also staff and parent. Similarly, external factors must include not only user friendliness, system quality, content quality, satisfaction, and self-efficacy, but also technical support, anxiety level of student and staff, privacy and security also must be considered when collecting data for the to develop the TEM model. And most required future direction for TEM e-learning, such as developing VR and AR e-learning tools, understand the use of e-learning from qualitative perspective through structured interview or focus group discussion, and game-based educational tools also welcomeable for the e-learning purpose. In addition to these, data must be collected globally within a long for long period of time. So these are some references that I have used for this study. And thank you very much for the organizers of this workshop, NAM and research group Egypt, Cairo, Egypt. And it is a time for question and answer. So you can ask your answer. So I will try to give best of my knowledge. Thank you very much, everyone.